Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this crossbody bag using feather stitch. For this project I'm using Aran weight cotton yarn and Yarn Story 4.5mm hook. Start with a slip knot and chain 22. You can start with any number of chains, so I'm doing 22. After the 22 chains, add an extra chain. This chain doesn't count, and now I'm going to go into the second chain and do one single crochet into the second one, and this is going to be my first single crochet. And you can place a stitch marker in, and now I'm going to place one single crochet into each until the last one. So I'm going to have 20 single crochet after this one. 1, 2, 3. I'm into the last chain and I'm going to place 3 single crochet into that one. 1, 2 and 3, and you're going to turn it. So now I'm going to work this way, one single crochet into each until the first one. So I'm going to go into the other side of the chain and start working. I'm back to the first one now. Here I'm going to do into that chain again 2 more. So I'm going to have with the first one another 2 is going to be 3. So 1 and 2. So I've got 3 stitches in each end and 20 in between. So it's going to be a total of 46 stitches. And now I'm going to slip stitch into the first one. So take the stitch marker off and go into the first chain and slip stitch. For the second round I'm going to do a round of single crochet. So chain 1, go into the same and do single crochet in the first one and put a stitch marker into that one, and then do 1 single crochet into each. So you're going to have 46 single crochet. Now to finish the round I'm going to slip stitch to the first single crochet. This is the slip stitch and this is the chain 1. So skip this, go into the first chain, sorry, the first stitch, and slip stitch. For the next round I'm going to chain 2. This chain 2 counts as a stitch, and then I'm going to chain 1 extra, and I'm going to place a stitch marker into the second chain. I'm going to skip next stitch. The next one is this one. This is the same as the chain 2 stitch. So skip the next one, go into the second and half double crochet into that one. And chain 1. Skip 1 stitch, go into the next and half double crochet, and repeat that pattern. Chain 1, skip 1, half double crochet into the next, and repeat. I'm in my last stitch, so chain 1, skip the last one and go into the chain 2, the one I put the stitch marker on. I'm going to take that off and slip stitch into that one. So insert into the chain 2 and slip stitch. So this round is done. For the next round I'm going to now switch yarn. So I'm going to grab new yarn, leave that one behind and grab the new one. So make a slip knot first and then grab, pull through and pull the other end, and that's it. Now I'm gonna chain 1. This chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, and now I'm gonna work into 3 places. So the first is going to be the first space, so this one, the first chain 1 space, and then it's going to be the skipped stitch of last round. So this is the skipped stitch, the stitch that is skipped. We're going to insert into that, and the third position would be into the next chain 1 space. So I'm going to do yarn over, go into the first chain 1 space, so insert into there and pull up a loop. So I'm going to have 3 loops into the hook, 1, 2 and 3, then yarn over and go into the skipped stitch of last round. So this is the skipped stitch, and insert, pull up a loop. So I've got 5 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, go into the next chain 1 space, so this is the next one, and pull up a loop. So you're going to have total of 7 loops into the hook, and I'm going to go through all 7. So yarn over, go through all 7 loops and chain 1. So now I'm going to work this way, yarn over, go into the first chain 1 space, so you can see the one that I've already worked in, and I'm going to work again, pull up a loop, then yarn over, go into the skip stitch down below here, pull up a loop, yarn over and go into the next chain 1 space and pull up a loop. So 7 loops, go through all 7 and chain 1, and the same thing again, 1, 2, 3. So yarn over, chain 1 space, yarn over the skipped stitch down and yarn over into the next chain 1 space, 7 loops, go through all 7, chain 1, and this is how it looks. So I'm going to repeat this all the way through. So here I've got to the end of the round and I've got exactly 46 stitches, but before finishing I'm going to add 2 more stitches and do an increase. So 48 would be the total number of stitches. So yarn over, go into the same chain 1 space, and then go into this slip stitch of you can see the chain 2, and down you've got the slip stitch of previous round. Yarn over and insert there, pull up a loop, and yarn over and go into that first chain 1 space, which is this one, and pull up another loop, go through all 7 loops and chain 1. So I've got these 2 extra, and now I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch, which is this one. I've put a stitch marker into that, take that off and go into that and slip stitch So this way you have 48 stitches. If you started with different number of chains, you're gonna have 2 more stitches. So if it's 36, you're gonna have 38, or 40, you're gonna have 42. And this is how it looks now. Now for the next round, I'm gonna grab the new yarn. So I'm switching yarn again. So make a slip knot and grab the yarn, pull through. So pull tight, and now I'm gonna do a chain 1. Pull the yarns again, and instead of working outside, I'm going to turn the work like this and work from the inner side. So each time you need to switch it. So for example, now I'm going to work into the inside from this wrong side, and later after this round I'm going to switch again to the right side. So this is the tricky bit, and this is what I'm going to do now. So after the chain 1 doesn't count. Now I'm gonna show you where I'm gonna work. The feather stitch is going to be the same way. So the first is going to be into that space, the chain 1 space. You can see if you pull, you see clearly the spaces where you need to work. So my first one is here, the second one is down below here, this space you can see, and the third one is going to be the chain 1 space, the next one. So 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over, go into the first 3 loops, yarn over and go into down here, second, and then into this one, yarn over and go into the next chain 1, and I've got 7 loops, go through all 7. I'm going to pull tight again these loops, and each time chain 1. So my first stitch is this one, the one before the chain 1, and now I'm going to continue the same pattern, yarn over, go into the first chain 1, yarn over and go into down below this one, and yarn over, go into the next chain 1 space and chain 1. So repeat. So here I am into the last stitch. So yarn over and work into the chain 1 space, yarn over and go down below into this space and into the next chain 1 space. Go through all loops and chain 1. If you count, you should have 48 stitches. And now I'm going to slip stitch into the first one, take the stitch marker off, go into that and slip stitch. So that's it. So this is the joining bit which you're gonna, so insert your hook and grab that to the inner side. So you have all the loops here, and now I'm going to grab the new yarn and turn the work. So make a slip knot grab and pull, chain one doesn't count, and now bring everything in and turn the work like this. So now I'm working outside, so each time you'll have to switch like this. So now I'm going to work from the outside, so this is the right side. And after the chain one, so the first space would be the first chain one space, and then it's going to be down below here, this space, and then the next chain one space. So each time you're going to repeat the previous round and this round. So this is the repeat. So yarn over, go into the chain one, pull up a loop, and yarn over, go into this space, you can see clearly here, and pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the next chain one space and pull up a loop, go through all 7 and chain one. And I'm going to place the stitch mark into the first one, which is this, and now I'm going to just repeat. And now to finish this round, I'm going to slip stitch to the first one again, but before doing that, you'll have to bring this yarn into the wrong side because it is in front in the right side, so you need to bring it into the wrong side and then slip stitch. So take the stitch marker off and slip stitch. So always make sure all the ends are in the wrong side, so like this, you can see all the ends. Now I'll be going back to the first color, which is this one, the copper. So go back and grab the yarn from behind. So I didn't cut the yarn. If you want, you can cut and join again, but I don't like it. So I'm just gonna go and grab the yarn back, pull the yellow one to close, and now I'll be working again in the wrong side, so I need to turn my work, chain one, turn the work like this, so the wrong side is facing you. And now I'm just gonna repeat. Now it's a repeat pattern, you just keep repeating these 2 rounds. So I'll be working into this space, the chain one space, then down below here, and then the next chain one space, and keep repeating. So each time you'll need to just grab the yarn back and work. I've done total of 25 rounds, including the first 3 rounds and then the feather stitch, which is 22, and you're gonna end up with an even number of rounds. So I've done 25, now this one would be the 26. If you are making bigger, just make sure that you end up with an even number of rounds so that you're working on the right side. Like me, now I'm gonna start and work on the right side, not on the wrong side. For this round, chain one, and I'm gonna do a feather stitch. So yarn over, go into the first chain one space, pull up a loop, yarn over and go in the stitch below, so this hole, and pull up a loop, then yarn over and go into the next chain one space and pull up a loop, go through all. So this is a regular feather stitch, and now instead of doing chain one, I'm going to go into the same chain one space, so this one that I've worked, and I'm going to do a single crochet on there, so like this. So I've got a feather and a single crochet and I'm going to repeat that. So yarn over and go into the same space as the single crochet, pull up a loop, then yarn over and go down here, pull up a loop, and then go into the next chain one space and go through all. So it's gonna look like this. And now instead of chain, I'm going to do a single crochet into the same chain one space. So that's the difference. So each time single crochet instead of chaining, and continue like this. I'm going to do feather and a single crochet. So that's it. So here I've got my last feather, and I'm supposed to do a single crochet now, but I'm not gonna do. I'm gonna end here. So you're gonna have a stitch less. So I have here 47 instead of 48. So now I'm gonna slip stitch into the first one. So like this, and you can chain one, cut the yarn. So just chain one and now I'm gonna join the yarn. So make a slip knot and join the yarn into the 7th stitch, counting from the slip stitch position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and into the 7th I'm gonna grab the yarn and join. Make a chain, and this chain doesn't count as a stitch. Now I'm going to do a half double crochet into the same, and this is my first stitch, and I'm going to make 7 more half double crochet, so total of 8. And after the 8 half double crochet, chain 1, turn the work and do 1 half double crochet into each. 1, 2. After 6 rounds of half double crochet, chain 1, turn the work, and I'm going to do half double crochet into the first one, half double crochet 2 together, so over the next 2, then I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, skip 2 stitches, go into the 3rd and the 4th. I'm going to do half double crochet 2 together into these 2, and half double crochet into the last one. Now chain 1, turn the work, and half double crochet 2 together, so this and this stitch here. So insert into this one and insert into this and do 2 together. Now I'm going to work into the chain 2 space. I'm going to place 3 half double crochet, 1, 2 and 3, and the last 2 stitches I'm going to do 2 together, so 1 and 2. Now chain 1 and cut the yarn. I've got this one from an old bag that I'm not using, and what I did is I've joined this small ring inside like this, and I'm going to do the same on the other side as well. So it's a straightforward, just using a needle and some yarn. I'm just gonna go back and forth few times. First of all, I'm gonna secure it with this bit here. I'm gonna make a knot. 1 and 2. And just keep doing few times to secure it. Then I'm just gonna make a knot again, and that's so. Now I just need to add the button, and that's it. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.